Your third stimulus check and third stimulus package. Joe Biden is currently live.
The crises of a pandemic and this sinking economy have laid bare the growing divide.
Before this press conference, Joe Biden gave us guidance about what is in the third stimulus package. And as he announces his details in prime time tonight, it's leaving a lot of people confused what the world happened. I have all the details across the board. The focus I told you going into tonight is that it's not law yet. It's not a bill yet. All it is a press conference. And so far, it's much of a lot of confusion. And I'll be going over all the details for you right in this video. Thank you for joining me on E! Afternoons LA, direct from Los Angeles with Joe Biden in the background.
Some 400,000 small businesses have permanently closed their doors.
So far tonight, he has been talking about the impact of the pandemic on millions of Americans. But the question is, how is he going to help you? If you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Go to the front of the channel and hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video. And also hit that alert button because I'll be going live a lot tonight in ways that I normally don't do, in time slots I don't usually record in.
This is what economists are telling us. More importantly, it's what the values we hold dear in our hearts as Americans are telling us.
Tonight, Joe Biden, in advance of his press conference, released details of his third stimulus package. His third stimulus package may have surprised a lot of you. It certainly surprised me. And throughout tonight, in this recording, and the recordings after this, I will be analyzing what he delivered on and everything he did not deliver at all on. Thank you, Felicia, for becoming a Purple Hawk. If you've not become a member, click the top of the link of this video where I have the linked video and consider becoming a Purple Hawk, Purple Power member, or Calcino VIP.
A growing number of top economists has shown even our debt situation will be more stable, not less stable, if we seize this moment with vision and purpose.
What we have so far tonight was pre-conference, pre-press conference, a release of deal points from Joe Biden. The question is, one, whether the deal points are exhaustive, meaning that was all that he's going to give you. Two, we had no clarity whether these items have been negotiated or spoken to by both sides of the aisle. Or three, we also had not been told what would happen with these deal points. In the background, you hear details about Joe Biden. But let me go over the details of his package tonight.
Before a joint session of Congress,
his package in the few weeks leading up to tonight had a lot of clarity. This is where his information came from. It came from the campaign, it came from his transition papers, and it also came from his press conferences. Last Friday, so let me go over each of the items he promised, and then I'll show you whether he delivered or not.
Of the coming years, Moody's, an independent Wall Street firm, said
Let me pause, Joe, there. Thank you for joining me. Joe Biden on Friday last week said that his third stimulus package would have a $10,000 forgiveness for student loan debt under his package. Did he deliver? Throughout the recording tonight, I'll ask you a yes or no, and I'll give you the answer if you know. So let's see if you already know what's happening so quickly, because it's literally happening by the minute. Joe Biden on Friday said that the third stimulus package would have a $10,000 forgiveness for student loan debt. So does his package actually deliver what he said he was going to give you last Friday? Yes or no? No, 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 no. Correct. It does not. What he actually promised on TV, on broadcast news on last Friday, a $10,000 student loan debt forgiveness, it's not in this yet so far. The question is whether it's an exhaustive list or not. Is this everything that's in the third stimulus package? Or is there actually more? Presuming this is it, it's not in there. Something he promised on Friday on broadcast news, $10,000 student loan debt forgiveness, not in there. Next item, $2,400 for SSI and SSDI, plus a 20% increase, plus a new benchmark to increase your benefits lifetime. He had said those details extensively in his transition papers after the election. Page after page after page. Are they in there or not? Answer yes or no if you know the answer. Did he drop the $2,400 of SSI and SSDI so far tonight? No, no, yes, no, 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 no. Correct. Also not in there. 2 out of 2 so far not in there. Next item. He had said that frontline workers like teachers, firefighters, and others need to be paid hazard pay. So is there hazard pay in tonight's third stimulus package debut to the American people? Do you know the answer? Answer yes or no. Is any type of hazard pay in there? Anything at all? No, yes, no, 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 no. The answer also is no. 3 for 3. All 3 things so far he had promised, not in there. Let's recap so far where we are tonight. Transition paper items, not in there. Press conference items, he said on Friday, last Friday, not in there. How can you have a press conference on Friday? Thank you, Rebecca. How can you have a press conference on Friday and say there's going to be $10,000 for student loan debt forgiveness, and then, what is today? Wednesday? Thursday? Less than a week later, it's not in there? As viewers said, he forgets. Okay. So we're 3 for 3. Let's go to the fourth one. Let's go to the fourth item that he said you were going to get. FPUC, $600. He actually puts the number $600 in his transition papers. He puts it in his campaign papers. He said it on broadcast news. In fact, his campaign official, his economic team member, told broadcast news this morning at $600. Is the FPUC, and I'm not even talking about retro yet, is the FPUC going forward in his bill $600? Yes or no? Is it $600 or no? No, no. The screen stopped. No, 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 no.
Good-paying jobs.
It's no. It's absolutely no. His FPUC and his bill he produced tonight is $400. $400? $400. You wrote $600 in your own documents. So now we're 4 for 4. 4 items he promised, 4 items not in there. While we're on the FPUC, by the way, he had said the $300 was a down payment for something. $300 is a down payment for $400. I don't know what language $300 is a down payment for $400. It's almost the same number. It's $300 is a down payment for $400. How about saying $300 is a down payment for $301? I mean, it's so $400 FPUC. Of course, there's no FPUC retro. I mean, it's just that's just, let's go for 5 for 5. What's the next one? What else can we go for 5 for 5? Oh, multiple stimulus checks. Multiple stimulus checks. Is there a multiple stimulus check in there? No. 5 for 5. 6. Let's go for the 6th one. That you're going to get the $1,400 from last year, which is Trump's stimulus. I mean, it's not even Biden's stimulus; it's Trump's stimulus, and he's going to give you $2,000 stimulus for this year. So he's going to give you $1,400 for last year and $2,000 for this year. Is he going to do? Did he come forward with that? Yes or no? Yes or no on that? Was that a no on item number 6? I think we're on 6 or on number 7. No, no, no. Thank you, Louis Michelini. What a beautiful name. No, no. No. So we're now 7 of 7 items that are absolutely no. I'm losing track here. Oh, how about the CDC grant in there? No. 8 of 8, not in there. How about the Lifeline grant in there? No, not in there. Is there any grant for any business, actually? Is there any EIDL or another round of PPP? No. So what is in this bill? What is going on? As Renee said, I don't know what's going on. Is this like, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like, the appetizer. Where's the rest of the bill? So do you know how much the value of tonight's bill is? Let's see if viewers already know the value of tonight's bill. How much is the total value of tonight's bill from Joe Biden? Do you know? See if you already know or can guess what it is. Scott says it's 1.9. Janine says it's 1.9. Heather says it's 1.9. Tina says it's 3. Jason says it's 1.9. Lena says it's 1.9. Hugh says it's 1.9. It is 1.9. It's 1.9. It's 1.9. How small would you call a $1.9 trillion bill? Diddy squat, said someone. Diddly. How small is a $1.9 trillion bill? It's nothing. Somewhat very small. It's chump change. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's literally empty promises. It's literally nothing. It's a joke. It's way too small. States get 1.8. Yeah, let's go to states. Actually, let's go over. Thank you for the person who just became a Purple Hawk. Thank you, Louis Michelini. Oh, for upgrading to Purple Power. I appreciate that. If you're just joining me at the 10-minute mark, there's a lot of happening. So I'm gonna have more updates at the 15-minute mark. A lot of people are saying, "Where is?" That's what a lot of people say. Where is what? Where is this? Where is that? Oh yeah, rent. We forgot about rent. Is there any rent in the stimulus package? Nancy Pelosi talked about rent and food, for all of 2020. Is there any rent? Yes or no? Any rent? No. No, there's no rent. No, there's no rent. There's no rent. Nope, there's no rent. I can't believe there's no rent. Is there any food? Is there any no, there's no food. No, there's no food. Thank you, Louis, for upgrading to a Calcino VIP. Very, very kind. Thank you. Wow. No food. There's no food in this. Is this a Republican president? Is this really a Democratic president? Everything that Nancy Pelosi asked for in 2020 is not in there. I'll have an update for you at the 15-minute mark. Where's all the 1.9 going to? Take a guess where the $1.9 trillion is going to. If you know in the comments where you think the $1.9 trillion is generally going to, drop it and let me see if you highways. No, that's coming up after this. Staying local, donuts, corporations. No, there's actually nothing there for corporations. Corporations are going to die. Vaccine, not so much for vaccine. China, schools. Teachers. It's the teacher president. Teachers getting all this money. Dr. Joe Biden. Teachers, it's a teacher's bill. It's teachers. Teachers are getting all this money. And staying local is $300 billion, which $300 billion, if you've been with me for a while, I don't know how Nancy Pelosi's going to accept $300 billion. Let me just do... I can't. I don't know what Nancy Pelosi's doing at the moment. Is she just about to hit her head against the wall? She's going to go nuts on this. Someone said, "What do you think Nancy's doing right at the moment? What do you think Nancy's doing? Picking up the phone and screaming?" Yes, I saw all red faces. Mona had all red faces. What do you think Nancy's doing with Joe right now? She's already come out and said Kathleen Purple Hawk, thank you. What's going on? Need furniture. Evening. Hello. Eating ice cream. She's eating ice cream. Yeah, maybe that's what Nancy's doing. She's eating ice cream. So where's all the money going? It's not staying local. There's only $300 billion for staying local. Wow. What a night it is.
Our rescue and recovery plan is a path forward with both seriousness of purpose and a clear plan.
Clear plan.
Transparency and accountability.
Accountability.
With a call for unity.
Unity.
That is equally necessary.
What's the unity?
And unity is not some pie in the sky dream.
Oh.
It's a practical step to getting the things we have to get done as a country get done together.
Get those teachers.
As I said when it passed in December, the bipartisan COVID-19 relief package was a very important first step.
First step.
I'm grateful for the Democrats, Republicans, and independent members of Congress who came together to get it done. But I said at the time, it's just a down payment.
It's just a down payment.
We need more action.
We need more action. Just a little bit more.
And we need to move quickly. We need to move fast.
We need to move fast.
Our rescue plan starts aggressively. In order to speed up our national COVID-19 response.
Oh, COVID testing.
The vaccines offer so much hope.
Vaccine.
We're grateful to the scientists.
It is an economic package, but we're talking about vaccine distribution, which has nothing to do with economy. The vaccine distribution, you spend other government money on vaccine distribution. Our economic recovery package has nothing to do with them sending out vaccines to people.
The vaccine rollout in the United States has been a dismal failure thus far.
Okay, I heard enough of that.
I will lay out our vaccination plan.
Our vaccination plan. Okay, I got it. Let him talk. Let him
Of
talk.
course,
Let him
meet
talk.
our goal of 100 million shots
Down
at the end
payment
of
on
my
socialism.
first 100 days as president. This will be one of the most challenging operational efforts we have ever undertaken as a nation. We'll have to move heaven and earth to get more people vaccinated, to create more places for them to get vaccinated, to
Thank you,
mobilize
Katie,
more
for
medical
Purple Heart.
teams to get shots in people's arms, to increase vaccine supply, and to get it out the door as fast as possible. We'll also do everything we can to keep our educators and students safe,
Teachers.
to safely reopen a majority of our K through 8 schools by the end of the first 100 days.
Oh, schools are going to open.
We can do this
Teachers.
if we give the school districts, the schools themselves, the communities, the states, the clear guidance they need,
Teacher
as
bill.
well as the resources they need that they can't afford right now because of the economic dilemma they're in.
Teachers.
That means more testing and transportation, additional cleaning and sanitizing services in those schools, protective equipment and ventilation systems in those schools. We need to make sure that workers who have COVID-19 symptoms are quarantined, and those who need
Thank
to
you,
take
Betty,
care of their family
Yvette,
members
for
with
the super
COVID-19
chat.
symptoms should be able to stay home from work and still get paid. This will reduce the spread of the virus and make sure workers get the support they need to maintain their families. But we need about $400 billion in funding from Congress to make all of what I just said happen.
$400 billion of the
It's a great deal,
1.9
but I'm
for teachers.
convinced we're ready to get this done. The very health of our nation is at stake. Our rescue plan also includes immediate relief to Americans hardest hit and most in need. We will finish the job of getting a total of $2,000 in cash relief to people who need it the most. The $600 already appropriated is simply not enough. You just have to choose between paying rent and putting food on the table. Even for those who've kept their jobs, these checks are really important. You see, if you're an American worker making $40,000 a year with less than $400 in savings, maybe you've lost hours, or maybe you're doing fewer shifts, driving a truck or caring for the
Should I
kids or
continue
the
to play
elderly.
it?
You're out there,
Yes or
putting your
no?
life on the line to work
Pissed
during
off
this
enough that I should
pandemic,
stop it? Or
and
continue to play
worried
it?
every week
No.
that you
Yes.
get sick, lose
No.
your job, or worse.
Yes. No.
$2,000 is going to go a long way
No.
to ease that pain.
Please stop.
We'll also provide more peace of mind for struggling families by extending unemployment insurance beyond the end of March for millions of workers. That means that 18 million Americans currently relying on unemployment benefits, while they look for work, can count on these checks continuing to be there. Plus, there will be a $400 per week supplement so people can make ends meet. This gets money quickly into the pockets of millions of Americans who will spend it immediately on food and rent and other basic needs.
That's assuming you get
As
the
the
check.
economists tell us, that helps the whole economy grow. We'll also tackle the growing hunger crisis in America. As I speak, and the Vice President-elect has spoken to this many times, 1 in 7 households in America, more than 1 in 5 Black and Latino households in America, report they don't have enough food to eat. This includes 30 million adults and as many as 12 million children. It's wrong. It's tragic. It's unnecessary. It's unacceptable. So we're going to extend emergency nutritional assistance for 43 million children and their families enrolled in the SNAP program through the rest of this year.
Okay, so that's not on the
Hardee's
list.
Restaurants prepare meals for the hungry, provide food for the families who need it.
That's not on the
We'll
list.
invest
That's a good sign
$3
that
billion in
SNAP
making sure
extension is not on
mothers
that
and their young
list.
children
So maybe that
have the
was not an
nutrition
exhaustive
they need.
list.
This will not only meet our moral obligation we have to one another, but will also spur our economic growth, get restaurants and workers back on the job. And as we work to keep people from going hungry, we'll also work to keep a roof over their heads to stem the growing housing crisis and evictions that are looming. Approximately 14 million Americans are falling behind on rent. many at risk of eviction. If we don't act now, there'll be a wave of evictions and foreclosures in the coming months as the pandemic rages on. This would overwhelm emergency shelters, increase COVID-19 infections as people have nowhere to go and can't socially distance. Next week, we'll take action to extend nationwide restrictions on evictions and foreclosures.
But nothing for rent.
This will provide more than 25 million Americans
But nothing for
greater
rent.
stability instead of living on the edge every single month. And I'm asking Congress to do its part by funding rental assistance for 14 million hard-hit families and tenants.
There's rent. There's
There will
rent.
also be a bridged economic recovery for countless mom-and-pop landlords.
14 million people can get
These
rent.
crises are straining the budgets of states and cities and tribal communities that are forced to consider layoff and service restrictions of the most needed workers. It means that people putting their lives
So
at
maybe
risk
we don't have
are
the
very people
exhaustive
now at risk
list.
of losing
That's
their
two
jobs.
items, SNAP and rent, that
Police
were not on that
officers,
list. So maybe
firefighters,
there's hope here.
all first responders, nurses, educators. You know, over the last year alone, over 600,000 educators have
Teachers.
lost their jobs
Teachers.
in our cities and towns.
Teachers.
Our rescue plan will provide emergency funding to keep these essential workers on the job
Hazard
and
pay.
maintain essential services.
Hazard pay.
It will ensure that vaccines are administered and schools can reopen.
That was hazard
Vice
pay.
President-elect Harris and I have been speaking with county officials, mayors, governors of both parties on a regular basis. We're ready to work with them, to help them get the relief they need. Our rescue plan will also help small businesses
Small business.
that are the engines of our economic growth, our economy as a whole, the glue that holds communities together as well. But they're hurting badly. And you realize they account for nearly half of the entire total U.S. workforce. Our rescue plan will provide flexible grants to help those hardest hit small businesses
Business
survive
grants.
the pandemic.
That's
And
new.
a low-cost capital that will help entrepreneurs of all backgrounds create and maintain jobs, plus provide the essential goods and services that communities depend upon.
That's good. That's new.
Last week, I laid out how we'll make sure that our emergency small business relief is distributed swiftly and equitably, unlike the first time around.
Fast payment of small
We'll
business
focus on
relief.
small businesses on Main Street.
Main Street business.
We'll focus on minority-owned small businesses,
Minority
women-owned
businesses.
small businesses, and finally having equal access to the resources they need to reopen and to rebuild. And we will be responsible with taxpayers' dollars, ensuring accountability that reduces waste and fraud and abuse like we did in the Recovery Act that I administered in our administration. Direct cash payments, extended unemployment insurance, rent relief, food assistance, keeping essential frontline workers on the job, aid to small businesses. These are the key elements to the American Rescue Plan that would lift 12 million Americans out of poverty and cut child poverty in half. That's 5 million children lifted out of poverty if we move. Our plan will reduce poverty in the Black community by 1/3, reduce poverty in the Hispanic community.
So in the
by almost
pre-release, he had announced
40%.
items that we thought were the exhaustive
Includes much
list.
more, like
Now we
increasing
see that
minimum
list
wage
omitted
to at
items
least
that are
$15
included.
an hour. People tell me that's
SNAP,
really hard to pass. Florida just passed it. It's divided as that
small
state.
business
They
grants,
just passed it. The rest of the country's ready to move
hazard
as well.
pay,
Should be
are
a
among the
national
items that
minimum
are
wage of
included but were
$15
not
an hour.
announced in the pre-press
No one
conference
working
announcement.
40
This is why
hours
we
a
have to
week
watch for the
should
bill.
live below the poverty line. That's what it means. If you work for less than $15 an hour and work 40 hours a week, you're living in poverty. It includes access to affordable child care that will enable parents,
Childcare.
particularly women, to get back to work.
That's new. That's
I
number
look
6
forward to
new.
working with members of Congress on both parties to move quickly to get the
And
American
rent,
Rescue Plan
also new.
to the American people. And then we can move with equal urgency and bipartisanship to my Build Back Better recovery plan
You can't do that with 1.9.
that I will
Do you think
call
you can do this
for
with
next
1.9?
month
Yes
to
or no?
generate even more economic
Can you do all
growth.
this with 1.9? Yes or no?
American manufacturing was the arsenal of democracy in World War II. It will be so again. Imagine a future
No.
made in America, all made in America, and all by
No.
Americans.
Hell no. No.
We'll use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America. We'll buy
No way.
American products,
Yes. No way.
supporting millions of American manufacturing jobs, enhancing our competitive strength in an increasingly competitive world. Imagine historic investments in research and development to sharpen America's innovative edge in markets where global leadership is up for grabs. Markets like the battery technology, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, clean energy. Imagine confronting the climate crisis with American jobs and ingenuity leading the world. It's time to stop talking about infrastructure and to finally start building an infrastructure.
Oh, that's the bill
so
after
we can be
this
more
one.
competitive.
It's after this one.
Millions of good-paying jobs that put Americans to work rebuilding our roads, our bridges, our ports, to make them more climate resilient, to make them faster, cheaper, cleaner, to transport American-made goods across our country and around the world. That's how we compete.
He doesn't even know what he says. Artificial intelligence. Yes, artificial intelligence is in your third stimulus package.
To ease the financial burden.
Artificial intelligence. You're getting artificial intelligence as part of your stimulus.
Let's make sure our caregivers, mostly women of color, immigrants, have the same pay and dignity that they deserve. So we can do these bold, practical things now.
I like how you whispers.
I know what I just described does not come cheaply, but failure to do so will cost us dearly. The consensus among leading economists is we simply cannot afford not to do what I'm proposing. Independent, respected institutions from around the world, from the Federal Reserve to the International Monetary Fund, have underscored the urgency. Even Wall Street firms have reinforced the logic. If we invest now boldly, smartly, and with unwavering focus on American workers and families, we will strengthen our economy, reduce inequity, and put our nation's long-term finances on the most sustainable course. And where we're making permanent investments,
keep it playing. I need a good
recurring investments. As I said in the campaign trail, we will pay for that by making sure that everyone pays their fair share. Not punishing anybody. We can do it without punishing a single person by closing tax loopholes for companies that ship jobs overseas. Or to allow American companies, 90 of them, the top Fortune 500, to pay zero in federal income taxes. Asking everyone to pay their fair share at the top.
Fair share.
So we can make permanent investments to rescue and rebuild America.
Fair share.
It's the right thing for our economy. It's the fair thing. It's the decent thing to do. We not only have an economic imperative to act now, I believe we have a moral obligation. In this pandemic, in America, we cannot let people go hungry. We cannot let people get evicted. We cannot watch nurses, educators, and others lose their jobs. We so badly need them. We must act now and act decisively. My fellow Americans, the decisions we make in the next few weeks and months are going to determine whether we thrive in a way that benefits all Americans, or whether we stay stuck in a place where those at the top do great, while economic growth for most everyone else is just a spectator sport, and where American prospects dim, not brighten. These investments will determine whether we reassert American leadership and outcompete our competitors in a global economy. We're better equipped to do this than any nation in the world. Or that we watch them catch up and pass us by. Together, I know which path we'll choose. That includes all Americans, so we can own the 21st century. But even with all of these bold steps, it's going to take time to get where we need to be. There will be stumbles, but I will always be honest with you about both the progress we're making and what setbacks we meet. And here's the deal.
He'll be honest with you.
The more people we vaccinate,
he'll be honest with
the faster we do
own it.
the sooner we can save lives and put this pandemic behind us and get back to our lives and our loved ones. And the sooner we can rescue and rebuild the American economy, the biggest and most profitable engine in the world.
Thank you, Anita.
I know it's been nearly a year that tested us beyond measure. For all of you who have lost someone, my heart goes out to you. I know that feeling looking at an empty chair across the table. All of you have fallen on hard times. I know you can never get back what you lost, but as your president,
I think it was
I know that every day matters and every person matters. From the very first to the nearly 400,000 lost American souls and counting, to the millions of you just looking for a fighting chance in this economy, I promise you, we will not forget you. We understand what you're going through. We will never, ever give up. And we will come back. We'll come back together. Well, we didn't get into all this overnight. We won't get out of it overnight. And we can't do it as a separated and divided nation. The only way we can do it is to come together as fellow Americans, as neighbors, as the United States of America. And when we do, there's nothing beyond our capacity. I've said this many times. When America acts as one, there's never been a single thing we've been unable to do, no matter how consequential the issue has been. Out of all the peril of this moment, I want you to know, I give him a word, I see the promise.
He gives his word.
The promise as well.
He gives
we
his
see
word.
clearly what we face now. And I remain so optimistic about America. As optimistic as I've ever been. We have everything we need, but the will must be demonstrated. So come Wednesday, we begin a new chapter.
Wednesday.
The Vice President-elect and I will do our best to meet all the expectations you have for the country.
He's going to meet your
and the
expectations.
expectations we have for it. I'm confident.
Confident.
I'm truly confident. Together, we can get this done and come out better off than when we went into this crisis. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Question.
Have you heard from the parliamentarian about bifurcation, sir? Will bifurcation work with this agenda and impeachment?
Oh, he didn't take questions.
We have been listening to President-elect Joe Biden. He said that he...
Yeah, we have been listening to him. So there we go. Bifurcation. Yeah. So thank you for joining me on Afternoons LA. You've been listening to President-elect Joe Biden direct from Delaware and in a audio live broadcast of his announcement of the third stimulus package. We've been waiting, upwards of 6 months to see this. We were given documents during the campaign. We were given transition papers from him. He had press conferences last Friday talking about $10,000 student loan debt forgiveness. He talked about the bill earlier this week, and he talked about it last week on the camera. Before he went live, a series of deal points of the third stimulus package was released to news, and viewers' jaws just dropped because there was so much not in there. When he delivered the live broadcast, there were 4 or 5 items in the bill that we have still not seen that were not in the pre-release. As I always said, it's not a bill yet. Tonight, we had wondered what was going to be in the press conference. There was some detail, not as much detail as any of us thought. But what made it very strange was that the pre-release before the press conference contradicted the press conference, which was more comprehensive. We still have not seen the bill yet. So my focus on you is we still have to see the bill. He did not. He delivered details that a lot of viewers thought would not come in at $1.9 trillion. Viewers thought it sounded like it would cost a lot more money. Let me go over what the deal items are. If you're just joining me at the 34-minute mark, this is Afternoons LA. During the press conference, we'll go over what he said in the press conference. The press conference, he said you would get $1,400 on top of your existing $600 stimulus check from the second stimulus package. And that's it. No multiple stimulus checks, no $2,000 plus $1,400, as we were told just yesterday. Now it's only just $1,400. So, and to make this even clearer, from April of 2020 to the end of the pandemic, he thinks the federal government should give you one $2,000 stimulus check. His vice president ran on the platform that you needed a $2,000 stimulus check every month for 6 months. But now he believes you can survive for a year and a half on one $2,000 stimulus check. Pretty insane. He described thank you for Patty for the super chat. He said that the $2,000 stimulus check would help you put a roof over your heads and put food on the table. But he forgot to mention that this $2,000 stimulus check is all you're getting from the federal government from April of last year to the end of this pandemic, which is about June or July of this year. So $2,000 to cover you for a year and a half. I don't know what country he thinks the United States is, but I don't know anywhere where your rent over a year and a half is $2,000, let alone your food for a year and a half is $2,000. It doesn't make any sense. It was laughable when he said it. It didn't show any graphs of the situation whatsoever when referring to that number. The next item that he talked about was FPUC. There was no FPUC retro, but what made this also very bizarre across the board was the pre-release papers said that the FPUC number is $400. At least the part of the raw audio that I ran with you, he did not mention the FPUC number, but the pre-release said $400. His own papers said $600. His own writings you could download on his own website said $600 a week. So I have no idea where he went from $600 to $400. Now, I could say about 7,000 things about the $400 number. This was a number that Nancy Pelosi refused to accept. If you've been a viewer of this channel for a few months, you know that she was offered. Here you go again. And I'm not going to try to get emotional about this because this makes me emotional sometimes. Nancy Pelosi was offered $400 a week by Steve Mnuchin in July 2020. She rejected that number, and my viewers became homeless because she would not take $400 a week in July 2020. And had she accepted $400 a week in July 2020, you would have gotten 20 weeks at $400 a week. You would have gotten $8,000. She rejected $400 a week. Now Joe Biden is coming out at $400 a week going forward, a number that she specifically said was not sufficient. So he did say $400 on air as well. So again, it doesn't show, it shows a disconnect between Nancy Pelosi, who summarily rejected $400 for 6 months of 2020, to the President-elect Biden saying $400 is sufficient. It also shows that he's trying to sort of bridge partisan issues because Republicans may not agree to $600, but would agree to $400. It also is a little bit laughable because he said $300 was a down payment for $400. Well, yeah, it is a down. It's like saying $300 is a down payment for $304. I mean, it's almost the same number, $300 to $400. It's almost the same number. The big shocker that viewers really had was the SSI and SSDI, the Social Security and Railroad benefits. You know, it's hard for me to show on camera because I don't do visuals, with graphics and things like that when I'm live, as you can see. But in his transition papers for SSI and SSDI, there's a lot of lines. There's lines after lines after lines. And then he quotes the Elizabeth Warren plan, which is 5-6 pages long. And it was a lot of detail in SSI and SSDI that became the $2,400, that became the 20% increase in the lifetime and the new benchmark. Nothing there. And it really is surprising it's not in there because, one, it's a nonpartisan issue. Republicans want it. And two, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. So it's really not quite clear why it didn't make the cut. The next one is the hazard pay. He mentioned on air the word frontline workers will be paid money so that ensure that they can show up to work. But in the pre-release, there was no mention of hazard pay. So again, this is sort of like plain unclear words. He doesn't use the word hazard pay, but he says frontline workers need to get certain type of stuff. But in the pre-release paper says there is no hazard pay. So this is why we have to look at the bill. It may be in the bill. It may not be as comprehensive that we thought hazard pay would be in there. But he did talk about hazard pay, so that was a good one. Then he talks about rent. also not in the pre-release papers as well, but says there would be rent in there. And he talked about SNAP. He talked about SNAP being extended all the way to, I think it was September, December. So that also was not in the pre-release papers, but mentioned as well. Then he talked about a lot of grants, which was very encouraging because we saw none of that in the pre-release papers. He talked a lot about grants, grants for businesses, grants to start businesses. I think one of my longtime viewers, Jean, dropped in the comments. I saw it on the screen. She caught it. It was very good hearing. He said grants not for existing businesses, but to start new businesses, which is a really good one. So we heard that. That was promising. And so it was a little bit of confusion. Of course, we heard eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, and we heard those items. So really confusing. So as we sit here tonight, this is why I said to you, I know the way these people work. Wait till you see the bill. Wait till you see the bill. This press conference went longer than I thought, but really, really, really wait till you see the bill because we really don't know. I mean, the fact that he just sort of threw out food somewhere. Oh, childcare. Childcare. Just threw out childcare. Let me recap what we have in this announcement tonight. In the announcement, he announced the following items were included: rent, childcare, SNAP, business grants, a form of hazard pay, FPUC forward at $400 a week, one $1,400 stimulus check, and some other sort of nebulous things that weren't particularly clear. So it's interesting. His delineation of items were not clear, as I told you ahead of time. Don't expect to get a lot of clarity from a press conference in prime time. It's going to be very window dress. It's going to be very, oh, we're going to help America. We're going to be beautiful country and America the beautiful. God bless America. Kiss me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's going to be a lot of that. And you're going to be like, well, how much you pay me? And I told you you ain't going to get a lot of details. Items were missing. Yeah, he said things in the press conference that were not in the pre-release papers. And then viewers and myself said, how are you going to pay for this for 1.9 trillion? It sounds like a $3 trillion bill. It doesn't sound like a $1.9 trillion bill. The only way I could see it as 1.9 trillion is it's really little bits of things, hazard pay, $2,000 of hazard pay, or, $1,000 business grants or $500 business grants, because 1.9 with 300 trillion of it is state and local, and, the rest of it's for teachers. It was the teacher bill. He mentioned teachers like every 10 seconds. And that was very, very obvious. But, what I want you to know as you go into the evening, and I will be back live with Evening's Check right after this, and then Purple Power, is that it sort of turned into what we thought by the end. It didn't start that way. The night started with us saying we got really SREWED. We got lied to. He cheated us. He conned us. It looked like that going into the press conference. And then as we heard the press conference, then we're like, oh, well, this is new. There's some rent in there, and then there's some childcare, and there's some internet, and there's some business grants, and there's some hazard pay. Well, that wasn't mentioned. That's sort of nice. Like, where did that come from? And so if the pre-release papers omitted 5 things that were suddenly appearing in the press conference, maybe there's more things in there. That's why I got to see the bill. That's why we got to see the bill. We don't know until we see the bill, because how many things did he leave out of the press conference that might be in the bill? There have been a lot of times where politicians just don't tell you everything that's in the bill. He forgot. So it said he forgot. Tag SSI and SSDI. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he's going to dance away from that. I really, if we look back on what we've talked about going into tonight's recording, we certainly knew that certain things could fall apart. We knew that FPUC may not be retro, but there would be some FPUC. But we never thought there would be no SSI and SSDI. That just wasn't an item. Artificial intelligence, what was that? Yeah, can we just not give money to artificial intelligence and give us the intelligence? Or can the people who wrote the artificial intelligence just not be stupid and take it out and give us some money for SSI and SSDI? There's 3,000 people in the room, and I think we already have our own intelligence. We don't need artificial intelligence. No, these weren't even campaign promises. These were actually transition statements. Oh, and then there's the other one. Not that I have anything about any particular item per se, but he held a press conference on Friday saying $10,000 student loan debt forgiveness. It's not in here. Did he mention the student loan debt forgiveness before I went on camera? Did he mention it? I didn't hear it. It wasn't in the pre-release papers. Not law yet. Not law yet. Shots for everyone, money for no one. Yeah, lots of money for states, lots of money for teachers. No how. Who told him to whisper? It was creepy. It was creepy. There was too much whispering. Let me whisper to you. We can focus and become a better country. And I want to tell you that as we go forward, we can whisper more. I wish he'd stop whispering. There was too much whispering in that press conference. It was creepy. It was a little too much. I want to whisper to you. It was like I don't know. It was like Bela Lugosi meets Vincent Price. It was like Night of the Living Dead. Like, let me tell you about your stimulus package. It was very creepy. It was a little strange. I think that's his way of being, very convincing. I think he needs new oratory skills. It was just too much whispering. And together we can just do this. Yes, maybe there was too much ice cream, $12 ice cream in his mouth. I don't know. Shots for everyone. Just shots for I think he needs a shot. A shot of vodka, not shot of the vaccine. So if you're joining me at the 8-minute mark, wow. I don't even know what hell time it is. Probably a little late for the show. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. I'm not that late. So let me give you surprisingly, no one's saying give me an update. So I guess everyone sort of knows where we are at the moment. The big update tonight is that your president-elect whispered to you for 40 minutes. He whispered to you for 40 minutes and told you how artificial intelligence was going to save American people. Ooh, I love that. Artificial intelligence and whispering was the way in which tonight's third stimulus package was unveiled. Not something I predicted 6 months ago, but that is what happened. And he said that teachers need stimulus. That was made very clear. Teachers need a lot of stimulus. Oh, and he also said all schools will reopen in the next 60 days. I'm sorry, I don't know anyone who wants to put their kids into school until people are vaccinated. So his items that he said he was going to have in the third stimulus package are $1,400 stimulus check going on top of your $600, hazard pay for an unknown amount, business grants for an unknown amount for businesses that are existing or new businesses, and also for artificial intelligence businesses. I don't know what that meant. Also some rent, some food. He said rent for did you hear where he said rent for 14 million people? Did he say rent for 14 million people? Is that what he said? Yes or no? I thought he said rent for 14 million people. Yes. Did he say rent for 14 million? Was that the number, 14 million? Because I heard it. I'm like, that's like no one. Did he say 14 million for rent? Because yes, he did. 14 million people. That's like half of LA County. What is 14 million people for rent? That's like no one. That's like what is 14 million people? That's like Midtown Manhattan. What is 14 million people? 14 million rent for 14 million people? That's not nothing. How about rent for 400 million people? What are you talking about? So he said that as well. He said some SNAP. He didn't say the amount. He said some childcare. Didn't say the amount. And he talked about people going hungry a lot. I think Nancy wrote that part of the speech. Talked about people going hungry a lot. Lot of people going hungry. Said that if you got $1,400, you won't go hungry if you got $1,400. Actually, if you got $2,000 to cover you from 16 months, you will not go hungry. So apparently in the United States, $1,600 will feed you for 16 months. Yeah. FPUC going forward, $400 a week, and $300 was a down payment for 400. I can't say that with a straight face because every time I say it, it just sounds ridiculous. $300 was a down payment for $400. No, they're almost the same number, but that's what he said. And he thanked people for giving you $300. He's now giving you an extra $100. God bless him for the extra $100. FPUC would continue to December. And then he said we need a lot of money being given to vaccinate people. When, this is a stimulus package for economic recovery. I don't know why there's money in there for vaccinations. That's a separate bill that doesn't need to be in this bill. And he did not mention $300 billion for staying local, which I really have to sort of end on. $300 billion. If you've been with me for a while, I really focus on numbers. During the summer, the reason why you didn't get a stimulus check, the reason why you became homeless, the reason why you didn't get money, because Nancy said you absolutely had to have $900 billion of state and local. And there was a time in which Steve Mnuchin appeared on CNBC at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I ran the detail. And Steve said, states don't need $900 billion. It's a bailout for 3 years. She's making up a crazy number. The Moody's Analytics, which Biden actually cited tonight, said you only need $150 billion. Mark Meadows said we would offer $150 billion, the Trump administration, $150 billion, and then we'll double it, we'll go to $300 billion. And during the negotiations of the fall, Steve Mnuchin offered $150 billion. I said, Steve, remember you did the campaign. Thank you, Unique. You did the campaign. You went and told Steve Mnuchin to raise staying local from 150 to 300. Nancy rejected it. Tonight, Joe Biden's doing $300 billion. I just, you're killing me. Well, at least I didn't whisper tonight or tell you about artificial intelligence. I mean, that will be coming up on Evenings LLA. But what a night it is. Thank you for joining me. You know what I think I'm going to do is, I think what I'm going to do is I'll take a 4-minute break and I will deliver Evening's Check early tonight. So we'll come right back on live with Evening's Check. And then we'll do third stimulus right after that. So those shows are usually at 6 and 7. We're going to go right into them. We're going to go into we're going to take a 5-minute break and we'll come back at 6 it's 5:03 We'll take a 5-minute break and go right into the first one and then go on the second one. So watch for that feed. Go to the front of the channel, hit that alert button. So you get that feed, so you get the live feed when I go live. Like this video, stay informed, stay focused, and consider hitting that link at the top of this video to become a Purple Power member. Calcino VIP, as one person did in this chat, or thank you, Don, for the super chat, or as well a Purple Hawk. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll see you back in about 5 minutes. Take care.